Dear Eugene, thank you very, very much for your warm words. My honored guest, good evening and welcome. I thank you for the invitation to take part in this special event. This is an opportunity to acknowledge and express appreciation to you, the friends of the Bethel Yeshiva, for your support in the worthy enterprise that has been leaving its mark for many years on the three aspects of the people, the Torah, and the land of Israel. The combination of the three is the guarantee for the continuation of our existence and our hold on our God's acre in the land of Israel and in the sovereign state of Israel. Yishar koach to each and every one of you. When Dr. Chaim Weizmann met in 1906 with the British Foreign Minister at that time, Arthur James Balfour in London, he explained to him why the Jewish people will not be able to find a substitute for the land of Israel. He even claimed that if Moses would have been present in the Zionist Congress where the idea of alternative Uganda plan was raised, he would certainly have broken the stone tablets once again. Mr. Balfour, said Weizmann, let us suppose that I'm offering to you Paris instead of London. Would you accept it? In his book, Weizmann describes how Balfour sat up straight in his chair, looked at him and replied, but Dr. Weizmann, London is ours. That is correct, he answered him, but Jerusalem was ours when London was still a swamp land. Yeah. How impressive it is to hear such a statement, direct and sincere, in an age where narratives and blurring of the basic truth dominate. In the period where everything becomes relative, when history is being rewritten before our very eyes in a horrifying way, here before us is an example of an expression of such a basic position which stems from the profound internal conviction, and therefore it is not apologetic, but rather fiercely present things as they are. A type of fundamental truth which is, in my eye, are missing today in our public and political discourse in the world and in Israel sometimes as well. What comes next, ladies and gentlemen, we are familiar with. We are currently commemorating exactly 100 years since the Balfour Declaration, which was a dramatic turning point in the chronicle of Zionism. It is difficult for us to imagine just how much it was like a breath of fresh air for the Jews of that period in its being the first international legitimization after more than 2,000 years of our right to establish a national home for the Jewish people in the land of Israel. And I think, as the Congressman and Ambassador Bolton said, President Trump has now his own opportunity, and I can tell him, just do it. By the way, this event becomes so significant that before the establishment of the state, many people used to note the date of the declaration as a landmark for dates, that is to say, such and such years after the Balfour Declaration. Honored guest, 31 years after the Balfour Declaration, the State of Israel was established. We have the privilege of living in a generation of the realization of ancient dreams. It is not to be taken for granted. You are sitting here, our partners in the realization of the dream of generations, which we are waving all the time in the state of the Jewish people. We have come along almost inconceivably impressive way but it is still long and complex. For this purpose, we need all the supports of Israel and certainly every Jew in every place in the world, so that he will bear this burden with us. As we all know, this year is very significant for Israel. It is packed with landmarks, all of which are milestones in our journey, the Israeli journey toward the realization of the Zionist vision. Yes, we are still in the midst of the journey, despite our having reached the promised land. This is an exciting and very special point in time, between 50 years to the reunification of Jerusalem in the Six-Day War and the commemoration of 70 years since the establishment of the State of Israel on the next Independence Day. I hope, by the way, to see you all in Bethel in the next Independence Day. Ketzal, I'm counting on you. You will bring them. Also, recently, we marked 120 years since the first Zionist Congress in Basel. There are those who think that Zionism has finished its job. They are wrong, very wrong. It is true that Zionism has triumphed over all the cynics and the doubters. It has prevailed and it continues to prevail from day to day over the ceaseless threats of its existence that arise from the unfoundable hate that denies its right and our right to exist. But precisely because of this, Zionism and its role are not yet over. In 2017, in the 70th years of the state, Zionism is our ability to ensure that we continue to see streets, kindergartens, and schools teeming with children and the vision of the prophet Zechariah coming through before our eyes. There shall yet old men and old women dwell in the streets of Jerusalem, and the streets of the city shall be full of boys and girls playing in the street thereof. Today, Zionism also means that we continue to see the campuses bustling with tens of thousands of students who are leading education and Israeli research to new heights. Zionism is to ensure that Israel continues to lead in economics and development, in high-tech and innovation, in agriculture and industry, in wisdom and creation, in material and in spirit. Zionism is not over, but its challenges are new. Our fight today is not against the drying of swamp, the mandate government, or the Jordanian snipers in divided Jerusalem. Israel's international status is stronger than ever before, and no doubt it casts on its defense supremacy, and it shall continue to be so. But alongside the physical struggle and unseen security threats, our struggle is to great extent about consciousness. It is against the modern hate of Israel, against the boycott movement and the BDS. Our answer to this organization and to anti-Semitism is simple: to reinforce the conceptual and practical affinity to the country and to the state, with the understanding that thereby we are realizing the vision of the prophet and the Zionist vision. We must intensify our governability and sovereignty in all parts of the country, in Jerusalem, in Beersheba, in Tel Aviv, in Haifa, in Sderot and Dimona, in Kiryat Shmona, and yes, in Judea and Samaria, in Jordan Valley, and in the Golan Heights. Here, ladies and gentlemen, the enormous contribution of the Besheva group that works hand in hand with the Bethel Yeshiva and its leader in evident. Deepening our roots is presently also expressed in the influence of the public atmosphere and the manner of discord taking place in this space. Be'Sheva has borne out of thinking about the whole of Israel, about the ways of influence beyond Torah study in the yeshiva and in the cultural life of educators and wise students. This is an important way of connecting the roots, but the media is the means through which the general public connect to the content and message. The Be'Sheva group, which in the past operated a pioneer radio station that dared to go against the flow, presently does its share in other and very common media in the printed press and on the internet. Thought it has found creative and innovative way of deepening the Jewish identity, of connecting the Jewish and Israeli public to its roots. The resources that you place at the disposal of the national camp, who loves its country and heritage, are essential in order to ensure the future and identity of these people. I stand by you and thank you on behalf of a very large public for giving us the tool and the platform to express related positions. The combination of the unique mass media alongside the voice of the Torah and never cease from the yeshiva campus at Beit El is a winning combination and an outstanding expression of the combination of Torah and work, an in-depth engagement in spirit and heritage alongside endless investment in the dissemination of this spirit. Again, I personally thank each and every one of you for your share and contribution in the shaping of the Zionist and Jewish identity. I wish you and for us that we succeed in meeting these many challenges. In the words of Job, the commander of King David's army, חזק ונתחזק בעד עמנו ובעד ערי אלוהינו. Thank you very much and see you all in Israel.